Just when the auto world thought it could finally take a breath, Ford just lit the fuse and blew up the entire car market with a single announcement. That's right, while everyone else was cautiously inching forward, Ford decided to stomp the gas pedal and leave a cloud of dust behind. And this isn't just a new paint job or a trim package. This is a complete shift in strategy that could ripple across the entire auto industry, from Detroit to Tokyo. Now, Ford has had its fair share of highs and lows lately. They've rolled out some impressive models, sure. The Maverick pickup, a game changer. The F-150 Lightning, a bold leap into the electric future. But at the same time, they've had some serious growing pains. Production delays, quality control issues, and that massive EV investment that's still trying to pay off. It hasn't been all smooth sailing. But now, Ford is pulling the trigger on a plan that's got the whole industry watching closely. They're slashing prices across multiple models, launching brand new trims, and even teasing a comeback for a long-dormant icon. That's right, Ford is looking to dominate both the gas and electric segments, and they're not being quiet about it. First up, the pricing. Ford just announced a massive price cut on the Mustang Mach-E. We're talking several $1,000s slashed off the MSRP. That move alone is a warning shot to Tesla and every other EV maker out there. And it's not just electric models. ICE vehicles like the Bronco Sport and Escape are also getting markdowns. Ford clearly wants to clear the lots and win over budget-conscious buyers who've been sidelined by sky-high prices. But it doesn't stop there. Ford also revealed plans for 3 new models that will hit the market by 2026, and the buzz is already insane. Industry insiders say we're looking at a brand new midsize EV SUV, a possible Ranger Lightning, and, get this, a performance version of the Explorer ST that's going hybrid. That's Ford's way of saying, we're not choosing between gas or electric, we're owning both. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Ford isn't just thinking about flashy new models. They're overhauling their entire dealership strategy. You heard that right. Ford is moving toward a direct-to-consumer model, cutting out the haggling, streamlining inventory, and pushing for a Tesla-like experience. Dealers? They're furious. Customers? Some are cheering. But love it or hate it, this move is going to shake up the way people buy cars in America. And then there's the battery play. Ford just finalized a $4.5 billion investment in a new battery facility in Michigan. That signals one thing loud and clear. They're all in on building their EV future right here in the US. No more supply chain dependency on overseas partners. No more waiting months for crucial parts. Ford wants to control the pipeline from minerals to motors. What's more, this announcement comes just weeks after CEO Jim Farley hinted at a revolutionary compact EV that would undercut even the cheapest Teslas and offer better range, faster charging, and, here's the kicker, actual profitability. If Ford pulls that off, it could mark a turning point not just for the company, but for the entire EV market. Meanwhile, Wall Street is already reacting. Ford stocks surged within hours of the announcement, and analysts are now revising their forecasts. Some are calling this a bold pivot, while others are wondering if it's too aggressive, too soon. But Ford isn't blinking. They're betting big, and they're betting now. Of course, this kind of aggressive strategy isn't without risk. We've seen what happens when automakers stretch themselves too thin. Just look at GM's struggles with their Ultium platform, or Stellantis dealing with dealer backlash and supply chain disasters. Ford walking a tightrope here, but if they can pull it off, they might just redefine what success in the 21st century car market looks like. And speaking of redefining, Ford also made waves by announcing a restructuring of its Blue Oval EV division. Leadership changes, a reshuffling of priorities, and a major focus on bringing down production costs. This is Ford admitting that the first wave of EVs had some issues, but they're not backing away. They're learning, adjusting, and coming back stronger. But the real shocker? Ford's decision to delay their next-gen full-size EV trucks in favor of redesigning the internal combustion lineup. That's right. In a world rushing toward electric everything, Ford is saying, wait, we're not done perfecting gas-powered vehicles just yet. That's a bold move, and one that's likely to earn them both criticism and praise. Because while EV demand is growing, a huge chunk of truck buyers still want their V8s, their towing power, and their range without charging stations. And here's the part that nobody saw coming. Ford is actively courting small business and fleet customers with tailored EV packages, subscription-based vehicle services, and over-the-air updates that adapt based on driver behavior. Imagine your van or truck getting smarter every month, more efficient, better performing, without ever stepping into a shop. Ford's not just building cars anymore. They're building an ecosystem, And that could be the biggest threat to traditional automakers of all. Because once customers are locked into the Ford platform, with their apps, their service plans, and their vehicle upgrades, switching brands becomes harder than ever. And while all this is happening, Ford quietly dropped another nugget. They're in talks with battery recycling firms to close the loop on EV production. That means cheaper long-term costs, better sustainability scores, and yes, tax credit advantages. So where does this all lead? That's the question every competitor, analyst, and investor is now scrambling to answer. Because what Ford is doing isn't just a strategy shift, it's a total industry disruption. And you can bet the ripple effects are already being felt. Dealership groups are panicking, competitors are scrambling, and supply chain partners are rushing to keep up. This isn't a company following trends, it's trying to set them. And if even half of this strategy works, we could be looking at a very different automotive landscape within the next 18 months. Now let's talk about the part that has rival automakers breaking into cold sweats. Ford's digital-first vehicle architecture. Behind the scenes, they've been quietly building a unified software platform that will power everything from infotainment to predictive maintenance to autonomous driving capabilities. This isn't just Ford trying to match Tesla, it's Ford trying to leapfrog them. Insiders say this new system will allow for real-time diagnostics, adaptive performance tuning, and even vehicle-to-grid integration. Imagine your Ford truck sending power back to the grid during a blackout, or optimizing its fuel map based on weather and road conditions automatically. This level of integration is exactly what legacy automakers have struggled to deliver. Most are working with outdated systems, duct taped together with third-party software. Ford's move to unify all of it under one roof means faster updates, smoother performance, and fewer bugs. If they pull this off, it won't just be about building a better car, it'll be about building a smarter one. But there's more. Ford is also launching an aggressive expansion into emerging markets, particularly in South America and Southeast Asia, where demand for affordable utility vehicles is skyrocketing. Instead of sending aging models to these regions, Ford plans to offer region-specific vehicles built on new platforms, equipped with modern safety features and connected services. That gives them a first-mover advantage in markets that competitors have largely neglected. And don't forget about Ford Pro. This isn't getting enough attention, but it should be. Ford's commercial division is quietly becoming a monster, offering not just vehicles, but full business solutions, fleet management, vehicle health tracking, remote diagnostics, and now integrated charging infrastructure. For every electrician, plumber, or delivery fleet owner, Ford Pro is becoming the go-to partner. That recurring revenue model, it's what Wall Street loves, and Ford knows it. Then there's the unexpected twist, a bold push into hydrogen. That's right. While everyone's focused on batteries, Ford is now actively testing hydrogen fuel cell technology for heavy-duty commercial applications. Think long-haul trucks, buses, even power generators. The goal? To beat the limitations of battery range and charging time in sectors where EVs just can't compete. Yet, it's early stage, but Ford isn't waiting to see what works. They're experimenting now, and that kind of foresight is what separates survivors from leaders. Meanwhile, Ford's relationship with unions is evolving. After the UAW contract showdown, Ford emerged as the first of the big three to strike a deal. Now, they're leveraging that goodwill to ramp up domestic production while keeping the workforce on their side. That balance, innovation without alienation, is something GM and Stellantis are still struggling with. And while all this is happening on the business end, Ford is also aiming straight at the enthusiast heart. They've teased updates for the Bronco Raptor, hinted at a track-focused Mustang GT, and there are even whispers of a new compact off-roader to compete with the Jeep Renegade and Toyota Corolla Cross. It's clear they're not giving up any segment without a fight. Even the charging network game is changing. Ford just confirmed full integration with Tesla's supercharger network starting this year, giving Ford EV owners access to the most robust charging grid in North America. That kind of partnership? Unheard of just a few years ago. It's a sign that Ford is willing to play smart, not just hard. And maybe the biggest surprise of all? Ford's commitment to affordability. While competitors are chasing luxury margins, Ford is rolling out entry-level models under $25,000, including a rumored new EV hatchback aimed directly at urban commuters. It's the kind of move that makes Ford not just a player, but potentially the most accessible automaker in the EV game. So where is all of this headed? What does Ford's aggressive blueprint mean for the rest of the market? Well, buckle up because the storm they've just unleashed is just beginning to shake the foundations of the industry. Ford isn't simply reacting to change, they're manufacturing the chaos. And in that chaos, they're carving out a new identity, one that's bold, adaptable, and unapologetically forward-facing. The traditional rules of competition, pricing, product cycles, market segmentation, they're all being rewritten. Ford isn't just playing the game anymore. They're changing the board. Take their decision to eliminate optional trims and simplify vehicle builds. It sounds small, but it's huge. Instead of dozens of confusing configurations, Ford is streamlining production by offering set packages that are easier to build and easier to sell. That cuts down on factory delays, reduces dealer confusion, and speeds up delivery time. Think about it. In a world where buyers are tired of waiting 6 months for a vehicle, speed and simplicity are the new luxury. At the same time, Ford is going all in on vertical integration. They're taking more control over their parts suppliers, raw material contracts, and even software development. Why? Because the lesson of the past few years has been brutal. If you don't own your supply chain, it owns you. Semiconductor shortages, battery delays, shipping breakdowns, they've all cost automakers billions. Ford is done being held hostage. Now, they're moving upstream to lock and control. And while they're doing that, they're doubling down on customer experience. Not the dealership coffee and waiting room kind, but real, data-driven engagement. Every Ford vehicle that rolls off the line is becoming a rolling data hub, capable of collecting insights on how you drive, where you go, what features you use, and what problems are likely to pop up next. This means faster recalls, smarter maintenance reminders, and even personalized performance tweaks sent over the air. But here's where it gets wild. Ford is planning to use this data to build a personalized ownership ecosystem. Imagine your car knowing when it's time for service, booking it for you, applying loyalty rewards automatically, and even adjusting your insurance premium based on how you actually drive. That's not sci-fi. That's Ford's roadmap, and it's already being tested in limited markets. Meanwhile, Ford Credit, often seen as a quiet background operation, is being transformed into a financial tech powerhouse. With flexible financing tools, bundled service plans, and a growing suite of digital features, it's becoming a core part of Ford's value proposition. And with more consumers looking for subscription models, usage-based billing, and short-term leases, Ford Credit is evolving to meet them right where they are. And it doesn't stop at cars. Ford's mobility division is quietly making moves behind the curtain. Autonomous delivery pilots, smart city infrastructure partnerships, and even exploring ride-sharing platforms built around Ford-only fleets. Their ambition? To make Ford vehicles the backbone of the future mobility network, not just personal transportation. But perhaps the boldest element of all is Ford's cultural shift. This isn't the old-school, risk-averse Ford Motor Company anymore. This is a company embracing innovation like a Silicon Valley startup, with the resources and global reach of a century-old powerhouse. CEO Jim Farley has made it clear. They're not afraid to break from tradition. If that means upsetting dealers, rethinking product lines, or outspinning the competition on tech R&D, so be it. And here's the thing. This shift is already having a psychological impact. Rivals are reacting. Investors are watching. Suppliers are adjusting. The moves Ford is making are too big to ignore and too fast to copy overnight. That puts Ford in a position they haven't enjoyed in years: leadership through momentum. And while consumers are still digesting the changes, one thing is absolutely clear. Ford is not just preparing for the future, they're dragging it forward piece by piece. The days of slow, reactive automaking are over. Ford is building a future where speed, software, and sustainability are king. The question now isn't whether other automakers will respond. It's whether they can respond fast enough. Because at this pace, Ford isn't waiting for anyone. The company is setting deadlines, building infrastructure, and deploying capital like a tech giant, not like a legacy automaker. And that's making everyone from Toyota to Hyundai sit up and pay attention. Ford has always been a big name, but now it's acting like a brand reborn, leaner, hungrier, and more unpredictable. Just look at what they're doing with fleet electrification. While others are still testing pilot programs, Ford is rolling out nationwide EV fleets with full software support, delivery vans that tell drivers how to conserve energy, service trucks that can be monitored in real time, entire municipal fleets transitioning to Ford EVs with charging blueprints already in place. This isn't just about vehicles anymore. It's about owning the infrastructure, the tools, and the data, which, frankly, gives Ford an edge few others can touch. And let's not overlook the international ripple effect. Ford's aggressive U.S. strategy is already pressuring its global operations to align. Plants in Europe are being retooled for EV production ahead of schedule. Australia is seeing a renewed investment in off-road utility vehicles. South Africa and Brazil are testing new compact pickup models. This global shift proves one thing. Ford's announcement isn't just a domestic power play. It's a worldwide restructuring of how Ford builds, sells, and supports its vehicles. But perhaps the boldest, most controversial piece of this massive rollout is Ford's growing push into AI-driven vehicle management. That means cars that learn your patterns, adapt to your driving habits, and even suggest routes or performance modes based on your mood, calendar, or the weather. It's the kind of tech that sounds futuristic, but it's already in limited beta testing on select Ford models. If it works, the Ford of tomorrow won't just be a machine, it'll be a co-pilot. At the same time, Ford is testing augmented reality support for maintenance and upgrades. Mechanics using AR glasses to diagnose issues. Consumers getting step-by-step guides projected onto their windshields. Remote techs walking you through fixes in real time. It's a bold play, and it signals that Ford's next big battlefield may not be the engine. It might be the interface. And while these future-forward concepts are grabbing headlines, the company isn't losing sight of what built it: affordable, reliable, durable vehicles. With the next-gen F-Series being reimagined for both gas and hybrid platforms, Ford is hedging wisely. They're not giving up on combustion, they're modernizing it. And that flexibility could be a critical advantage as the rest of the market swings between extreme electrification and consumer hesitation. Meanwhile, rumors are flying about Ford's secret Skunk Works division, reportedly working on a vehicle platform that could underpin everything from city cars to autonomous shuttles. Modular, scalable, and future-proof. Nothing's confirmed, but patents have been filed, suppliers have been contracted, and timelines suggest a major reveal could hit as soon as late next year. In other words, Ford isn't just building cars anymore. They're building a movement, a system of products, technologies, and services that are designed to lock customers in for the long haul and make switching to another brand feel like downgrading. This kind of dominance hasn't been seen since the heyday of Detroit's golden age. And the crazy part? We're still just scratching the surface, because what Ford has put into motion is far from over. But the message is crystal clear. They're not following the industry anymore. They're leading it. Every announcement, every move, every shockwave rippling through the automotive world right now has Ford's fingerprints all over it. From slashing EV prices to retooling entire factories, from launching next-gen tech platforms to reshaping how customers buy and maintain their vehicles, Ford is tearing down the old playbook and writing a new one in real time. The old rules? Gone. The old timelines? Irrelevant. In their place is a Ford that's unapologetically aggressive, willing to bet billions on a vision of the future that blends muscle, intelligence, affordability, and speed. And let's be honest, that scares a lot of people in the industry. Because if Ford pulls this off, if even half of their promises become reality, they won't just be competitive, they'll be dominant. For consumers, this could be a turning point. More choice, more value, better tech, smarter support. Whether you're a truck enthusiast, a family commuter, a small business owner, or an EV early adopter, Ford is making a hard pitch. We've got something for you, and we're ready now. And for the competition, it's panic time. They're being forced to respond on Ford's terms, not their own. They can't ignore these moves. They can't delay their reactions. Ford just made the first major move in what could be a new era of automotive warfare. One where the fastest, most adaptive, and most daring brand wins. So buckle up. The game has changed. Ford's not just here to survive. They're here to own the road. And for the rest of the industry, the race just officially started. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to stay ahead of the curve as the auto industry transforms, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. We've got more deep dives coming your way, and you won't want to miss what's next. Thanks for watching.